Welcome back to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef, joined by my co-host this morning.
D-Blox21, what's up?
It's another day, another shocking full day of Knicks content that we get to talk about. As you know, the Knicks have sort of hit us with a shocking trade. This kind of reminds me of when they did the whole um, what's his
OG
name, RJ, and quickly, and
and
we were
OG.
shocked when that happened because it just like they got rid of them, got OG Ananobi, and it was shocking. It was just random. No one saw it coming. I know there was some people who did want to see OG come to the Knicks, and then here we are, fast forward, which I kept saying that the Knicks were gonna do this in three phases, and it looks like the Knicks did actually in turn. I don't know if this would be considered the third phase, but the Knicks actually went ahead and made a move. Um, I think that there was an underlying question mark of two things: the center position being fulfilled, and there was this question mark of whether Julius Randle was going to sign as he was due for a payday with the Knicks. So there was that underlying, like, dang, what's taking it so long to figure out if Randle has re-signed with the Knicks, and then there was this. I know you and I were very much harping on, as most Knicks fans were, what's going to happen with the center position. Me personally, even with the healthy Mitchell Robinson, I didn't think that it was a safe bet to just rock out with Mitch, and then you have Precious Jericho and a combo of Randle playing backup center. I just didn't think that that would be suffice playing a whole long 82 game season plus your in season tournament plus the playoffs. And Mitchell Robinson can't even stay healthy for 6 months, if that. So the Knicks, flash forward, hit us with a surprise, a bang, as Mike
Nice.
Green would say.
Yeah, bang.
And we were like, whoa. And actually, I like this. Some people feel like I saw someone comment on another sports podcast content creator, and they said that news of the trading Randall and Devo and acquiring Carl Anthony Towns was so unexpected. It was bad business. No, it's business. It's
Exactly.
you're out of job and they hit you with the wazoo. Like, yeah, we can't keep you anymore. We're gonna have to move on. It's business. It's a business. The NBA is a business. All professional leagues are a business. So I'm gonna get into my little take. I have plenty of questions for you because I wrote out some notes. We all know with Mitchell Robinson recovering from his ankle surgery, he's gonna be sidelined for 3 more months of recovery or longer, given with Mitchell Robinson's injury history. So, and who knows? With Mitch, he can easily go down in the playoffs. Knock on wood that it doesn't happen, but it's possible. So, New York's opening night center would have been either Precious Achua or Jericho Sims, neither who I'm sure Tibbs wants in that role, right? And neither would most fans want in that role. I know some people were like giving us pushback on Jericho Sims and felt like, oh, you should give the guy a chance, whatever, whatever. And maybe he will prove something. I don't know. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of that. But without Mitch, the Knicks will be outmatched and out rebounded against the league's biggest bigs. Your Embiid, your Jokic, your Porzingis, et cetera, et cetera. So now the Knicks, I'm sure, because they made their mistake when taking forever to figure out what center they were going to get after they weren't able to keep Isaiah Hartenstein. The Knicks took a risk, swung for the fences, traded Julius Randle, and they traded the big Ragu, Dante DiVincenzo, to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Carl Anthony Towns. Your initial thoughts on that trade?
Me, outside of DiVincenzo, I'm cool with it. Um, like I said, people don't like change, whether it's good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And And as players, we get emotionally attached. We as players, we invest our time, our energy, the passion that comes with the game, the love for the game. And so we get attached not only to the team, but a player. And then so now when it's time for us to, set our feelings aside, and, the detachment, it's hard to do. Some people could do, like me, I can do it because I'm team first. I love individual players. Yes, I do. But
Hmm.
I'm all for the team getting to that next step. Do you want to win a championship or do you, or what? Yeah, Randall could have possibly done it, and same thing with DiVincenzo. But that trade wasn't done not just for a backup center, it was done for financial reasons as well. So you got to look at that aspect of
The
it.
business side. Right.
Exactly, the business side. You know, I love the trade. You hear a lot of people, oh, quiet the cat is too soft. Da, 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 da. And what does again? They're looking at like the individual because that attachment, the emotionality. You know, I'm like I said, I love the trade. Well, I like the trade, and the only reason I can't say I don't love it because I like the DiVincenzo and what he did for us last season.
Right.
Um, how he was a bench player and he was able to start and what he did in that role. So I'm gonna miss that aspect. Um, I think it shored up, that center position. You
Yeah.
know, um, he's a big body that will be able to contend, with the likes of a Joker, like they said for Zingas and B. So like you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, do you want to win?
Right.
Yes, I mean, yes, I do. Um, we just have to just wait and see. I like the trade, just what he's able to bring to the team and the organization. And I think this will definitely, ain't no thing. I know this will definitely help them, contend with those top tier, those 500 teams and bring us to that next level. So I like it.
Yeah, same. I think sometimes in business in general, you have to take risk. And if you're afraid to take risk, you'll never see what the reward or the end result can be if you're too afraid to take risk and step out on faith and making change. And I think as Knicks fans, we have to also remember that the Knicks was under such a dizzy spell of just not good players on the roster, not good front office employees. Just weren't going in the right direction 10 plus years ago, and I think just aside from the end goal of getting a championship, when you want to, as an organization and any professional sports teams, when you're trying to work towards getting a championship, you have to make the changes along the way. It takes championship teams time a few times before they can actually a few playoff seasons before they can actually win that championship. But I think it's important that you make the changes along the way. And when the Knicks were losing, that was something that I used to always wonder and question, like, wow, why isn't there any change being done, not just with the players, but the front office? And I say this jokingly, but it's true to some degree. When the Knicks hired Leon Rose, he came in like Mr. Clark and lean on me, and he was like, "We making changes. We're making changes, and I'm here to do my job without being cocky, without having this overly stardom fame surrounded by my name, like Phil, like Isaiah. I'm here to get the job done because this is my expertise. I have experience. I have the eye. I know what's going to work. And in return, as a fan, my trust is there that I trust that his decision making is for the betterment of this Knicks team. So the Knicks making these changes, look at what's happened so far. It's worked in our favor. So we have to be open to, at the end of the day, again, you don't need a superstar, but you sometimes have to make adjustments and changes to implement the right fits to get this team past the second round, to have a better regular season record, to be able to beat your Bostons, to be, you know what I mean? Like those are the things that you have to do. And this Knicks team is doing that. And the front office has proven that we're gonna do what we need to do to make sure that we have um not just the proper players, but making sure also that the players are happy, that everyone's gelling together, that guys are gonna entrust and follow, what Tibbs is putting out there. And that Tibbs is happy with the players that he has. So it's a two-way street. And so far it's working. But I want to know from you, do you think the front office made this trade due to concerns over a need for a center, or is it both? Was there a question over Randall's playoff performance fit with the team for next season?
Well, actually, it was three things, and I'm gonna throw in a third thing. Definitely for a center position, we all know that we was
Right.
harping on that. We need us a legitimate center. A little when I heart left, we that was a hole. You know,
Yeah.
it was a big gaping hole, not no dime size. We're talking like a big gaping hole in that position,
Right.
and they know they needed to fill that. Yeah, there was a few guys that got away from us, like a Drummond, and other players that signed, and Valanciunas that re-signed. So, as the season time, was wearing thin, players was just slipping by. So, and again, they see, we don't know what was behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? This all was, was planned out. They know as players was like slipping through the cracks and slip through the things. It was like, okay, we know what we need. They just didn't do when we wanted them to,
Right.
and we want them to boom, sign the center like right away. So that's one. They knew that was a hole that needed to be filled. Vandals, I don't think that his playoff, that was a question mark. Well, will he be able to give us that? Will he be there? How could and he's shown it, but that was a question mark. And then number three, I think Randall was a holdout. He was not willing to take less.
That's
So
the point.
sometimes, I don't want to say a player caused their own demise, but if you're not willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team, then guess what? We got to move on.
Right.
Everybody's replaceable. They are. And again, it's a business. This is from the business side of it. Randall, he wasn't willing to take less. And that's what stalled. That's why they had to make that move because they know, he's due this year, but they're looking at long term um, longevity. That's what organizations look for. They're not, yeah, it's the here and now, but okay, can you bring us not one, but can we get two championships out of you three, or can we get X, Y, and Z? So they looking at the longevity of, again, the business side of it. So when those factors played in, it was like, okay, we got to make a move. Like
Yeah.
it's not happening. It's the two sides are at a standstill. So it's time for us to move on. So let's get this done. Let's make this happen, and that's what they did. So you know, again, it's a business. So those three things. They had to like shore up, and they did it.
Yeah.
And we'll just have to just wait and see.
Yeah, I agree. I think also too, one of the biggest things, especially I can speak for the both of us, was that while we really enjoy and appreciate Mitchell Robinson, what he does on that floor, as he's still needed on his team, right? I don't think that it's enough for this Knicks team. Not even just the injury history. Like let's act like he's a healthy player, right? And he can give you a whole season in the playoffs and then some. But I think what Mitchell Robinson lacks, you need someone who can give you that in return. And that's why it worked when we had Isaiah Hartenstein, who was able to give you the other intangibles that Mitchell Robinson can't. So one of the things that we did lack, though, was we didn't have a center who can stretch the floor and shoot from the three. You see a lot of centers now in bigs, they can
Yeah,
shoot the three, and we didn't have that with the Knicks. And Isaiah Hartenstein said in one of his exit interviews last season that the Knicks didn't want him shooting threes. So he's hoping he can do that in OKC. But with Cat, and I really hope that Tibbs, they don't like try to take away a player's certain aspects of their game. Like if they have multi dimensions to their game, allow them to bring that to this team. Because I feel like when you say, well, listen, we don't really need that from you. We want you to just stick under the basket. You're limiting what we can
yeah,
do and how much of a threat we can be when you don't allow a player to do that. So I think what Cat brings is that a lot of what Mitchell Robinson can't bring on the floor. And that's what this Knicks team needs is that we need someone not just to be able to cover and be a backup or vice versa, with Mitchell Robinson being out, because even, okay, once Mitch comes back, you still kind of got a tippy toe because you don't know, is he going to tweak an ankle or whatever, and something else happens. So you just have to kind of like, be very mindful of the minutes and things that you're giving him. But again, he's still very much needed. But I think that that was one of our biggest concerns was like, you need someone who's another solid center because we both, and I think going back to what you were just saying, the Knicks didn't want to settle the front office and just grab anybody at the five position. Remember when we did like a 2 or 3 part series where we was going over potential centers.
yeah.
I was not happy with any of the choices because I felt like we was just taking the crumbs of what was left because there was no one left. But leave it up to this Knicks front office. These guys are like real true salesmen.
Yeah, oh, for
They
sure.
know how to get on that phone and negotiate with not only the teams, but the agents, and to make sure that everybody's happy and that they could acquire who's a proper fit for this team. So I applaud them for not settling because they could have just went after the plethora of guys, at
That
least
was
10 of
it.
them that we had that were left over, and could have just said, okay, we'll have this guy as a five and we'll just add him to the team. And that wouldn't have made the Knicks better. You would have
Exactly.
still had Jalen Brunson having to go crazy, having Mikel doing what he's doing, have this guy doing OG doing what he's doing. But that's all well and good. But when you get to the playoffs, you need a team who's gonna be able to take it to the next level healthy, but be able to take it to the next level. So I applaud the Knicks for not settling and not just grabbing anybody, getting somebody of substance, of value to this team, and also they did it while the guy is still under contract. So
And to piggyback off of that, when they realize Mitch will not be available to January the latest, they said December, January, they said, okay, we definitely got to make a move, and that's what they did. And on a twofold with that, I think the stall happened with Randall. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm just speaking. You know, he possibly felt some way. With the whole captainship. Not being named. I've been here the longest. And he did. He brought the franchise. Up to contention. You're not taking anything away from him,
mhm.
but at the same time, his mindset, and I'm just speaking as a podcaster, a spectator, a love of the game, diehard Knicks fan. Um, he could have felt some type of way, you know, um, not being named number one like captain. He saw what they were able to do in his absence.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes a player feel, well, hell, you know what you need me for? I'm not settling, as far as financially. So we don't know the ins and outs of what what was his mindset and where he was at. So possibly that's probably maybe why he was stalling, as far as contracts, because he figured, hell, they don't need me. I mean, so again, the front office had did what they felt was necessary to do, and they said, "Well, let us make a move now." Um, we let's face it, Precious is not a true five, and damn well Sims is not your go-to.
Right.
So we got to contend now. It's like we don't have 3 4 years to, it's either now or never, and you got to make that statement. And Brunson is your guy. So now you need somebody that could match up with him. That's the same skill set as Randall, or possibly better.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's what they did. So that's where my that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I
I
could be
think
totally wrong, and guess what?
I think it was I think it's 50-50 with that. I think Randall could have thought that, but then the other half, the other 50% for me is that Randall has said he's not interested in being the number one option, the number one guy. I think if Randall would have gotten captain, he would have gotten that. I'm not dismissing what Randall has done in this team. He's grown and gotten a lot better on this team. However, Randall's tenure with the Knicks reminds me of um, Carmelo Anthony in the way that they were here for a long time, and piggybacking off of what you just said, but nothing happened. We didn't really make a move under their regime while they were here. And to give Randall to his credit, Randall, like Melo, didn't really have a solid group of guys around him. So he was having to carry the load and do everything himself. He didn't really have any help until they got Jalen Brunson and the Knicks got Leon Rose. And now there was all these, good quality role players that they brought along to the team. And now he was able to not have to be captain, and do everything himself. So I'll give him that much in credit in that regard. But I think that it's kind of like what you just said. Like sometimes as an organization, you have to say, well, we haven't really gone anywhere under you. It's not to say your game you're not a good player. He's a great player. But as an organization, when you're aiming to get that championship, you're looking to go to the next level. Sometimes when you have that player that's considered your A or B player, if we're not making moves and we're not growing under you and we're not getting to that next level, sometimes organizations are like you said, they're like, it's a tough decision to make. And I think that with the Knicks front office, it was just that. Like trading Julius Randle and Dante wasn't an easy decision, but it was a necessary one. And it was something that the front office had to do. And they did just that. And, you know, again, it's for the betterment of the team. Do you think Cat is a better fit for this team and why?
I think he is. Um, Not so much as a better fit, but he's a good fit. Like, I don't want to say, because I haven't really, again, we haven't seen, play, and none of us have, with Brunson. I think he's a great fit for the team. Um, he offers size. Like I said, he can contend with the bigs. Um, he could handle his own. Like I said, people say, "Oh, he's soft." Da, da, da. There's a lot of negative, but those are the people that don't want change that are saying things like that.
Right.
And, people that want change, they see the upsides to him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's an elite shooter, so like I said, he is a great fit for the team. He could hit the three. I was watching highlights, man, his passing. So he reminds me of a iHeart, with his passing. He runs out in transition, he blocks. So like I said, I think he's a great fit for the team. Um, and I'm happy. Like I'm happy that they got him. I'm excited, man. Like I said, I'm ready for the season to start tomorrow, if you ask me. But I think he's a nice fit and he will fit in seamlessly. With Brunson, just how Brunson runs the offense. He could, the lob. He again. I'm excited. And we'll just wait and see. But yeah, I think he's a good fit for the Knicks organization. And not to mention, we all know he's a hometown. He's closer to home. You know, um, no nobody, yeah, like I said, he didn't ask for this trade. He was just as shocked as the next person.
Hmm.
But he's coming to a winning organization. So, it's not like he's, with from bad to worse. He's coming to a great organization that wants to win it and is on the cusp of winning.
Yeah.
So, that's what I say. He's a nice fit, and I think he'll fit in nicely, with these guys and just what he can bring, to the Knicks.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cat is absolutely a better fit. He's under contract, so he's offering the Knicks security without the immediate pressure of negotiating a new deal. He's a legitimate shooter from beyond the arc. He has the ability to stretch the floor, which will be a huge asset for this Knicks team. His mobility and ability to defend multiple positions make him a better fit against guys like Joel Embiid, Kristaps
Mhm.
Porzingis, Nikola Jokic. So he brings a lot of those things that this team needs that I think give the Knicks a little bit more of a defensive and offensive threat presence to this team than just Mitchell Robinson. And that's what this team needs because, you know, I think also the other issue was that when we would bring like Precious Achua in or even Jericho Sims, while Jericho has the height, it's not the same presence like Mitch who can get you the rebound, or Cat who's can play bully ball down low and get you the rebounds that you need.
Mhm.
So I think just his versatility is just huge for this team, and it's something that they were missing in the paint, especially. And now you have somebody who could score baskets for you, like not even just in the paint, but close to the paint. Somebody who could, again, and it's not, I'm not knocking Isaiah Hartenstein, but sometimes those floaters didn't look very confident. Like they were like a move that's a work in progress. He's still working on it, and he's probably going to be a lot better at them next season, this season coming up. But with Cat, I think you have someone who could knock down free throws, who could hit the three, who could hit the mid range, who could pass the ball. So there's a lot of versatility under his game that's needed for this next team. Did the
And
Knicks
yeah, and he also rebounds too as well. Yep.
right,
So
do the Knicks lose anything with this trade?
yeah, because with DiVincenzo being thrown in, um, yeah, that's definitely a loss. Offensively, he's another guy that can start, come off the bench. So that's they lose that because now I'm looking at like the bench. I'm like, okay, we got Precious, Sims, Deuce, and Deuce would definitely, step in and handle that. You got Payne. Um, who else is coming off the bench? Like that,
Josh Hart.
Well, actually, I saw something, and I don't know if this is concrete, but I saw like the Knicks starting five, and they had two scenarios. It was Cat, OG, Bridges, Hart, and JB. And then they had it was Cat, OG, Bridges. JB, and it was I can't think of the others. So now is Josh Hart starting? Is he coming off the bench? So
I think he should be coming off the bench.
oh, I think so too. But so now when you look down that bench, now I think we're back to Ted's looking around like, oh damn, I got nobody. But you know, uh, just
I
wondering.
don't I don't think so. I don't think the Knicks really lost anything because I thought about that too. Granted, Devo, you lose his shooting, and this was like a really fantastic, probably his best in his NBA career, his shooting. But I don't think that the Knicks necessarily lost a huge, because to me, I think because they acquired Mikal Bridges, he's an excellent shooter as well. And I don't think that you really, and I'm hoping that Josh Hart improved his shooting ability, his three, and just his not being indecisive and wanting to go and make a move and take the shot that he needs to make. I don't really see that the Knicks lost anything in return. And I think also as far as Randle, you have Cat who's just as good as a player and can give you all the other intangibles as Randle would, if not more. But I think that I don't see where the Knicks really lost anything. I did read where Hisson Wise, Ian Begley, shared a key nugget of information related to the trade, and he suggested that Dante DiVincenzo was truly unhappy and dissatisfied with the new role that Tom Thibodeau created for him for next season, on which he'd come off the bench and play fewer minutes compared to this past season. Um, he said DiVincenzo didn't love the idea, in quote, of playing fewer minutes coming off the bench on a reduced role. I can say confidently that Dante DiVincenzo didn't exactly love the idea of playing fewer minutes slash a reduced role this season. He was coming off a career year and helped the team win a ton of games when they were shorthanded. That was Ian Begley, what he was saying. I mean, and I hear that, but to me, I don't see where the Knicks lost out on a big piece. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will be missing that shooting coming off the bench from him.
But that's my point. Like someone, yeah, I think it could this Marvin Cat is not better than Randall, and which I mean I think he is. I disagree with that, but I think our bench, to me, it kind of weakened our bench because, like I said, who's you got Precious Sims, I guess maybe. Well, Precious will probably come behind Cat, or he could do the four. But who outside of McBride, um, and who else is coming off that bench? And McBride, Precious.
I would think it would be Josh Hart because wouldn't the starting five be Jalen, Mikel, OG, um,
Cat.
Cat, um, Towns, and then I don't know who would be the other fourth. Who?
No, I'm asking. So
Oh,
to me, I think it did weaken our bench. So that's where and again, this is why we we go back and forth. We don't always agree, that. But I I think that's gonna be missed. DiVincenzo. Again, I think that scoring, that shooting is gonna be missed. And then now and on the flip side, I saw something where that story wasn't exactly true. Like he's kind of denying it. Oh, that he's didn't exactly. But we'll never
he's
know.
lying. He said that. I hate when players try to backpedal. Stand on business. If you said what you said, say it. That's why I like Mitchell Robinson, even though he goes to social media and Snapchat to say what he want to say. But he clearly wasn't happy with that but he has to realize he only was getting those minutes because there was players that were hurt. So that's why he was able to come in and step in and start and get more minutes because we were down. It was a serious man down situation.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just, I think that, I don't know. I feel like, I always had an issue with the Knicks bench from last season. I always felt like our bench was weak. And I mean, I'm still waiting to see who's going to be on the bench to help us. Now you have, I guess that other person would be Karen Payne, who would be on the bench as well, that can come off and provide a spark if the Knicks needed off the bench. But, you know, I think even with that said, one of the things that I was saying to you at the end of last season was I was looking to see certain players show improvement for next season. Deuce, I'm looking to see what if he's able to utilize and capitalize on his quickness and get to the basket, as well as improve his shooting. Josh Hart not being indecisive when he gets the ball and he's wide open and still decides I'm going to pass it to someone when he's wide open, and then also when he drives to the basket, can he protect the ball when he's driving and not allow the defense to swipe the ball away from him? And then now the ball bounces off his chest or his leg, and now there's a turnover. Um, and then who else I wanted to see? I'm also going to be watching Mikal Bridges. I know what he can do, but is that going to translate? Maybe it will. Maybe it'll feel good to be winning, and not that he wasn't doing his thing in Brooklyn, but maybe that'll help him step it up and maybe have like a great season like Devo had, and he'll be able to step it up for next season as well. But I'm looking for certain players to show improvement. Jalen Brunson's not off the hook either. We know what he could do, but I think what I don't want to see from him is him trying to play hero ball if we're losing. Dude, there's four other players on the floor with you. You can pass the ball. It's okay. You know what I mean? Get other players involved and utilizing. I know a lot of fans had complaints about Brunson not giving Mitch the ball, allowing him to get the lob so he can get the easy basket. Same thing now that we have Cat feeding him the ball, which I think they'll be able to work well together. We'll see. Preseason starting October 6th, so we're very close to the start of preseason to see what he can do, and how the team plays in general. But I think that I've always had an issue with the Knicks bench. I was saying this from last season. I'm like, what bench? And me and you would go back and forth, like you said, because I'm like, who's on the bench that's going to give us what we need? And there's still a question mark for me there.
Well,
There's
for this
two
season,
guys, three that I can say, okay, yeah, you can put them in, they'll do something, but who else?
I definitely there's a question mark. Last season, in the beginning, we had a strong bench, but then
I agree.
when it was like a man down situation as the season wore on, I question that too, and the starters were able to hold their own due to extreme minutes that they were playing. So in the beginning of the season, I didn't question that. I thought we had one of the strongest benches when the season started last season. Now
Right.
this season, now I have a question mark. Who is that bench? Who's coming off there outside of Deuce? Um, Precious, and where will they put what type of role will he play? Is he playing a 4 to 5? So now there's a question mark for me. So I for this season, and it makes you wonder, now are the players going to be back to playing extreme high volume minutes?
I don't think that's smart.
Well, of course not.
I don't think that's a good idea because it's just the problem is with the Knicks, we'll finish the season great. We finish off strong. We get to the first round playoffs, which was very exciting. I thought the Knicks had the most intense, exciting first round last year of the playoffs. But one thing that I noticed that's a repeated pattern with the Knicks is that when we get to the second round, we lose gas. We lose wind because guys have been playing 48, 44 minutes, 40 plus minutes in a game. Now they sustain a rib injury. You know what I mean? Whatever kind of injury, and it happens. It's part of any sport. Injuries happen. But I just think that the energy levels plummet because guys have been playing so many minutes that they're worn out. They don't even have nothing left to give, and they're trying. It's not that we don't see them giving up and they don't try. This team has been very resilient and persistent and just coming back from behind and fighting till the end. But I don't think that playing guys excessive minutes throughout the season is a good idea. I think Tibbs, that's my critique for Tibbs that I want to see improved for. It's not just the players, it's Tibbs too. I want to see Tibbs also kind of take from like Sandy Brondello of the New York Liberty and call those timeouts at the right time. Don't allow the lead to get too high. Make your right adjustments. Remember, I don't remember what game it was. This is when we still had RJ. Remember Tibbs took RJ out and he put whoever in the game, and people was like, "Why?" And Tibbs said, "Oh, I thought that was the better fit."
Oh yeah, yeah. I
And I
forgot who
said,
they
"How did
played
you
that
think that?
game.
Were you drinking on a game? How did you think that was a good fit?" So it's like there's some games where you question Tibbs and like his decision making and why. And if you're an assistant coach, you're not getting in his ear to say, "Yo, we should probably stick with the hot hand," and But I think also too, when there's certain games where maybe guys are flat, or you only have one or two guys out of the starting five who were on, maybe you need to bring somebody from the bench who could give you a spark. Somebody who's staying ready. They're watching a game to see where they're going to be able to implement themselves on the offense and the defense, and they can come in and give you a spark. Who I think Campaign could do that for you. He did it with Philly. He was chucking up shots that Nick Nurse didn't want, but they were going down. So I also wanted to address, someone asked, I don't know, where's the comment about um they asked about Cat being able to handle MBM. Shout out to you. Said, can he handle New York fan pressures? Only question. I don't think that he can't not handle playing in New York. I think Cat can for sure handle playing in New York. I think every player that we have on this Knicks roster can handle playing here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. He knows how New York crowds are. They're the most boisterous like crowds arena anyway. They love you when you hot, and when you chucking up shots and they not falling, they're gonna let you know. It's just how he handles it. And I think he got a whiff for how New Yorkers that crowd is.
Right.
Randle has some issues in the beginning of his season, and again, it's all about maturity and growth. He's moved past that. If he could take it back, I'm quite sure he would. But guess what? It's out there. But
Exactly.
I think he'll be able to handle New York crowd. Like you said, he's from the East, so it ain't nothing
Right. From
new
Jersey.
to him. You know?
Exactly. Shout out to Chris Connors. Said, I think Tyler Kolek is going to get moved up to the second string sooner than later. Happy you brought him up because I was very impressed with what I saw from Kolek in Summer League. And he's who I would love to see get playing time. And I say that because I think he can learn a lot, like Deuce. I know Deuce, you love the Deuce Jalen combo because you love that Deuce is learning. And I
Yeah.
think that Tyler Kolek needs playing time with Jalen Brunson during certain games, especially if you know it's teams that you're going to beat, your Charlottes, your Detroits. He needs to get playing times, even against better teams. But I think Tyler Kolek should get the playing time at times in certain games, playing alongside Jalen Brunson to get the experience. And I'm sure he's going to be in practice, watching, learning. Jalen's probably going to be in his ear talking to him, showing him things. He's only going to get better. So I really don't want to see him sitting on the bench like he's Obi's brother at the end of the bench. I don't want to see him. I want to see him rip the warm up jerseys off, and I want to see him getting checked into a game. Not for a minute, not for 2 minutes. Again, Deuce had to work his way up with the minutes too, but give him the opportunity to get the playing time. So I would love to see Tyler Kolek get some time because I think what he can do is something that this Knicks team also needs. And that right now you only have that one guy who can do that right now, which is really Brunson. And I'll say OG because OG's not afraid to drive into the paint. But we need more guys who can attack the paint, attack the basket. They're not afraid to get guys in foul trouble. When the Knicks rely on their shots, whether it's threes or mid-range jumpers, and they're not knocking down, it hurts them. And you need a guy like Tyler Kolek who this is why the Knicks were very successful last season because Isaiah Hartenstein would get the ball in the middle. He looked like he was going to drive and he was kicking it out. And Tyler Kolek does that same thing. He somehow his peripheral he can see where other players are on the floor and he's able to attack the basket and also get whatever basket off that he wants. So I would like to see how he fits in with this team. Marvin Smith Salute said this team has to gel first. New teammates, they might get off to a slow start. Hopefully not too slow. Hopefully not hopefully not too slow. But yeah, they'll gel. I think this team already has chemistry and with the new guys, like you
Yeah.
said, yeah, they're for sure gonna have to figure it out and fit in with this gel team that's already been playing together. NBM said Cameron will play some unfortunately at the two. Yeah, he may. I just hope this team is able to stay healthy as well.
Yeah.
So
Health
this
is
way,
big.
right. Stephen P. Torres, salute to you, said if Deuce McBride continues his development, we won't miss Dante too much. I agree with that.
Agree. Yeah.
I'm really looking for Deuce to add driving to his game. I don't want him to just be a catch and shoot kind of player. We are Here's the thing: teams already know that Deuce can do that. But if you can hit them with the I'm a drive and use my speed to my advantage, man, Deuce is gonna be a problem. He's really gonna be a problem for other players. Um, Now the Knicks did sign Marcus Morris Sr. and Chuma Okeke. They signed Marcus to an Exhibit 9 deal September 15th, and Okeke signed an Exhibit 10 contract back on August 1st. Both of them signed to non-guaranteed camp contracts by placing them on waivers with the Knicks and basically not giving the Knicks any
Actually, they
type
were
of.
both waived.
Yeah, I know. I was saying I was
Okay.
rewinding back. Um,
Okay.
um, Not allowing the Knicks to have any further financial obligations to either of them, but they both were waived. I was gonna bring that up. I was just trying to rewind to that because I know that was something we didn't talk about. We've been mainly covering the Liberty a lot. Um, so the Knicks pretty much sent Randle Devo to Minnesota, and wasn't it was it wasn't Marcus, right? That they sent as well. I feel like it was somebody else they sent. It was a first round pick, and I feel
No,
like it was another player.
Landry Shamet, but they
Hmm.
still have him. So right now they still have him.
And then they sent Jeffries, Brown Jr., and Washington Jr. to Charlotte.
Oh yeah, and actually that's where DiVincenzo's going because they had to get Charlotte involved as a third team for financial reasons. So he's going to Charlotte, um, and Randall's going to Minnesota. So
Right, right.
mm,
Salute Parrish Duggar said the best thing about the Knicks is that they make sure their best shooters take most of their shots. Yeah, yeah, for sure. The Knicks is still gonna be in a good place. I think this move was risky, but it was a good risk. And I think that this is something that the Knicks needed was to be able to acquire a solid center who can shoot the ball, who can catch, who can pass, who stays healthy on this Knicks roster. And this is what the Knicks needed. I mean, I don't think waiting it out as we thought that they were possibly going to do. We thought the Knicks were going to wait out to what January, February trade deadline and then make a move. It's a little too late to do it that way. I'm not saying that it wouldn't have still worked, but why wait when you could get started on the right foot and start the season off right, even if it is a slow start, but you allow those guys to gel in versus doing like how we did when OG came in the middle of the season and he had to fit in, which OG fit in like a glove from the rep when he came.
wait, I just want to just chime in with the chat. Like Paris said, he said no, DiVincenzo's staying with Minnesota. Okay, yeah, so I guess well, he's staying with Minnesota, which is still a good, Now, is he starting there? Um, maybe not. So sometimes you gotta be happy where you were at. But hey, it
Yeah.
wasn't his choice, to go anyway. But we'll see. Though I just wish him, the best of luck, that wherever he lands.
Yeah, I didn't see that it was saying he was going to Charlotte either. I saw that he was with Minnesota. I was like, when you said it, I'm like, oh, maybe that was something new, but
Yeah, yeah, it was.
um, but yeah, I mean, I saw Randall's, I guess, wife penned like a goodbye letter. How do you think Knicks fans who don't like Randall feel about Randall being gone?
Well, again, you got fans that don't like him and fans that like him. And same thing with Cat. You got fans that don't like the trade and fans that love it. So, and you can't please everybody.
Hmm.
So, at the end of the day, it's a business. We don't have we don't have no say so in it. And the fact of the matter, we love players, um, and there's some players we don't like. So again, there's gonna be players that are like, oh, he happy he's going, and oh, because of his shoulder injury, he's not gonna be the same, and what he did and the value that he brought. So it's a 50-50 as far as the fans. And again, you're not gonna please them all. There's gonna be some that love it, some that hate it. Oh, they should have kept Randall Cat, and something. Yeah, what Cat can bring. So again, I'm all for the team, for the
Yeah.
betterment of the team, not the player. If this player is gonna get you to that next step, and I believe Carl Anthony Towns will, and the same thing with Randall. So you know, I'm neutral either way. I
Yeah.
so
I remember when people were in the chat and people were suggesting that they were suggesting Carl Anthony Towns. And they were asking us how we felt about him
hmm
becoming a Nick. And so there was a lot of talk about him coming. And I know the Knicks were working, the front office was working on acquiring him for a while. So, this is, I feel like this whole like wait and see was part of the Knicks front office plans. And that, you know, I was like, damn, the Knicks missed the mark. They were banking on getting Isaiah Hartenstein, and Hartenstein went with the money, rightfully so. He earned it. And then I was like, well, there's no one left. Slim pickings. It's like no one, left to acquire at that set backup center position. And we were saying, well, maybe the Knicks are gonna wait it out and see how they play. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I just don't think that's a good idea. And then boom, here comes the news with Mitchell Robinson. So maybe they could have still been trying to wait and see,
yeah,
or they could have been all along, during this summer or midway through the summer, working on acquiring, getting Cat over here. But I think when they found out from the medical staff that news about Mitchell Robinson, they said we got to get somebody here immediately, like fast, because you can't. The Knicks don't have enough tall, aggressive guys who can get you. We need second, third chance opportunities if needed. Who's going to get us those rebounds? Jericho Sims, who's strong. He's very, very fit, but I don't think that's enough. Hell, I think it was the desperation talk even came down to where at one point we was talking about Dwight Howard, who's now dancing with the stars. He's a dancing with the stars person now, contestant. So I just think that the Knicks made the right move and did what they needed to do to get the right player in with this team. I'm happy with the fit. You know, am I gonna miss Randall? I'm gonna miss Randall's double doubles. I'm not
yeah,
gonna miss the inconsistent Randall. Um, and I think to some degree, Randall at times, not all the time, at times he stopped the ball movement. And we saw when he was out injured last season, the ball moved a lot freer without him on the floor. Because Randle, when he gets the ball, he needs time to make his move, whether it's a hesitation to look like I'm going to go to the basket, but I'm going to really shoot the jumper, or I'm going to make my move and a quick little dribble move, and then I'm going to, create space, and then I'm going to shoot my shot. Or I'm going to grab it down at the paint and I'm a, play bully ball and then make my move. So I think that quick ball movement, that pace, we had that. And when Randall's on the floor, you don't really have it as much. I'm not going to say it's completely lost, but you don't have it as much. So the Knicks now have that. And I truly think that was one of the reasons why the Knicks was so successful, because the ball movement was so key, and that you were able to lose the defense when the Knicks were passing the ball and making. Also, we weren't settling for just point guard dribbling up the ball, Jalen Brunson, whoever bring up the ball, one pass, and then we chucking up a shot. Like, we weren't doing that. So that's what made us good. And Isaiah Hartenstein, just with the good decision making, the basketball IQ coming in play, and then guys cutting to the basket. So, I think that we'll be fine. I'm very confident in where this team is at, and where they're gonna go. I'm excited to see preseason. What's the first game on the sixth against, I think, Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I hate to see Randall go and Devo, but it's a business. And I also think that as fans, we're so hungry for a championship here with this New York Knicks team that we have to continue to keep that in our minds. That's the end goal. Sure, winning 50 games, 60 games is great. Sure, getting out of the first round is great. But this team has to prove they can get out of the second round. They can get to the finals. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the front office makes the moves that they make. Leon Rose and Co. This is why they make the moves that they make, because this team has, the front office now is also, they have pressure not just on Tibbs, but it's like as a whole, as an organization. This is not the old Knicks regime. This is like, we gotta get to the next level. No more playing it safe. Oh, yay, we got to the first round. We already know the Knicks can do that. This Knicks team has to take it to the next level. And it's imperative that they do that this season. You don't have to have a perfect season, but it's what you do in the playoffs that really matter.
Yeah.
So we'll see what this Knicks team does. Just like later today, we'll see what the New York Liberty does. They made it out of round one. They're in round two, the semifinals round, going against the Las Vegas Aces. The Liberty did an unlocked episode. I sent it to you. I don't know if you had a chance to watch
Yeah.
that.
I did. Mhm.
The Liberty, I saw Lisa Leslie was on a podcast. I meant to send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you when we get off of here. She said exactly what we've been saying. She said, my issue with the New York Liberty is that they play, they lose their identity in games. She said it's like they don't know if they want to go to John Paul Jones. They don't know if they want to go with Brianna Stewart. She said then it's a bunch of turnovers. And she's been at a couple of the home games recently, to watch. She's been there live.
Mhm.
So if the Liberty do that against Asia Wilson and the Aces, you're not getting past this round. And like the Knicks, except the Liberty went further and made the finals, but still, there's a pressure on you to get out of the second round. If you can't beat them, there's something wrong with you. To me,
Uh,
it's a failed season if you can't get past especially because you beat them three times. And
yeah.
yes, you made a valid point. They didn't have Asia in one game. They didn't have Chelsea Gray in one game. They didn't have Jackie Young in one of the matchups. But you can't, if you don't make the number one team the entire season and then you just fall flat. You can't do that. You have to get out of this round. You have to win the first two games at home. You had the better record over Vegas. Win at least, it's the best out of five. Win at least the first two games. If Vegas want to take game three, great, but you can't allow them to win game four. I'm looking to see what the Liberty do tonight. If they don't come out with high intensity, smart IQ, looking like they want it more, you're allowing Asia Wilson to shoot like a Harlem Globetrotter out there because that's what she gonna do. She gonna look like the whole Barclays is her court. That's how she gonna be out there playing at 3 o'clock today.
She gonna have MVP on her chest, and rightfully so. But it's up to the Liberty to contain her, and you're not gonna contain her fully because she's gonna get her shots. She's gonna get the
Regardless,
rebounds. She's gonna get a steal, a block or two. But they have to be able to stand up to the task at hand. Um, that's going to be a tough matchup between her and Stewie because again, they're between the two of them. You got five MVPs, Asia three and Stewie two. So that matchup, is going to be like whoever's going to impose their will, and I think they're both going to just score flat out. So that matchup, I'm not like I'm definitely looking to see. But my thing with John Crow, they're no match for her. Kia Stokes, um, definitely offensively,
but
defense,
sometimes they
and
put Asia on her too.
yeah, they do, and they may put that what's the what's it the tall girl Gustin? It's not Gustafson. I forgot her name,
Oh
but
yeah,
they
I know what
I'm
you
gonna
know.
look it up. But they may try to throw her at her, but even still, John Crow is still, offensive and defensive. She's outscored them, out rebounded them. So she definitely has to impose her will because she's a a bigger threat, if compared to like the aces player. Um, so she's definitely going to have to be key and like really like be locked in. We don't need, we know you can hit the three, but again,
We
you
don't.
know, we don't need it.
Yeah, I don't really want to see her shooting a lot of threes because when she does that, sure she can make them like you said, but that allows if I'm Asia Wilson, I'm gonna let you shoot that all day because I'm gonna sit by the basket and be ready to snatch the rebound when you miss it. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean? And I
Yeah,
think the biggest thing too is that we keep talking about Asia Wilson, who's gonna score. She's gonna give you 20 plus 25 points each game throughout the second round. But I think the other thing is that you have to watch out for those other sneaky, quick players like Kelsey Plum. She's quick. And one of the things that we already know Phoebish is most likely going to start. She has to guard her. But here's the thing, and this is what Vegas is going to do, mark my words. They're going to look to get in Jonquel in foul trouble and Phoebish in foul trouble. Because those are two key players that the Liberty need. And if they get too frustrated or get too caught up in the fouls, there goes
yeah,
there goes three fouls. Now you have to sit down to the third quarter,
yeah.
and
I,
that's the problem with the Liberty. They have to be careful of that. Also, I think that because you don't know how friendly of a whistle the Liberty are going to have with the referees, but I think that you have to watch out for also Chelsea Gray. Like yeah, she throws phenomenal passes, but I'm like be ready for that. She throws those bounce passes where she could split five players. If y'all, she does that. Be ready for that. Don't allow her to embarrass you out in Brooklyn today. Don't. Because all it takes is for her to start getting hot. And then she also is capable of shooting a three. So you need to defend her. You need to defend Jackie Young. You need to defend Kelsey Plum. If you don't defend those three, and then if you allow Sid Colson to come in off the bench and start looking like a Harlem Globetrotter, she's another one, and you just letting her do whatever she want to do. I'm telling you, the Liberty will not get out this second round.
yeah,
And
and
for the Liberty, You can't have players like Benijah Laney with 7 points.
No, for sure.
We need about 14 from you each game. We
And,
need scoring from, put it like this, if your name ain't Stewart, UNESCO, or Jones, who all three have to give us at least, I'm gonna say a minimum of 15, but I'm gonna go 20. Really 20. But the other supporting role players, you can't give us 4 to 6 points. It's not gonna cut it.
and also their bench. The bench has to come up huge because you got Alicia Clark, you got Hayes, and you got Colson. They they seem to, people they want to come to, your home team and just, try to dominate, and of course they looking to steal the game. If they could take game one, that's to their advantage. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the Liberty players, they have to play smart, not fall for the open dope, you know, watch the passing. And like you say, if Thievish and Jones get in foul trouble, like that's a damper. Now that's added pressure on Stewie and UNESCO. As you know, that's added pressure on them. And that's why Laney definitely has to, you
She
know,
has to,
yeah, there's yeah,
has to step up. Like,
agree.
I appreciate what Lainey does for us on the defensive end, but she's more than capable of giving us 16 to 20 points. We've
Yeah,
seen her do it many years, multiple games. She has to look to score. She has to look to score. And then Liberty needs to look to run. Don't just play a half court game against the Aces. So I want to see the Liberty play their ball, find their identity, stick to it. Don't allow Vegas to make you play their style of basketball. Play your style, what you're true to doing. Minimal errors, minimal turnovers, high, quick pace. Come in with a chip on your shoulders. They beat you in the championship round last year in Brooklyn and was cheering and screaming, and the owner was sitting there clapping and was happy. Yo, that should eat you up and be like, yo, not again. We're not allowing that to happen again. And did you see in that video when Stewie, before the first game against Atlanta this year in round one, she said, we've been talking about it. Let's be about it. Enough with the games.
yeah,
Before they fell hard and broke it up. It's true. Be about it when you get on the floor. Sabrina, the paint was open against Atlanta. It may not be open against Vegas.
oh
Like
yeah,
I
they
said,
definitely.
watch film. It's not going to be open. And when it is open, here's what's going to happen. Because this happens to Sabrina a lot. She drives to the basket and she gets snuffed from the back. Someone tips the ball as she's going to shoot it. And a lot of times she gets fouled and she goes to the ref and she's like, yo, they hit my head. Stop looking for the foul.
Yeah, yeah,
Play the
exactly.
game. Stop complaining to the ref about a foul. And it's not just her. It's John Quells, a few other people. Just keep playing. Stop worried about every single freaking foul. That's annoying. You're taking yourself out of the game. So I need them to play their style of basketball, get stops, put a body on someone and box out. I don't want to see people watching the basketball and watch it fling from the rim and no one's grabbing it. And then you got someone random on Vegas who's just grabbing a rebound. Like, you're going to have the crowd. The crowd's going to be behind you. They said at the end of the game, oh, we need you to trust me. They're going to be there. There's not going to
Oh
be
yeah,
any empty seats. The crowd is going to be behind you because just like Knicks fans, the Liberty fans want a championship. It's up to you. Sandy could only do but so much as the coach. You saw her cursing him out in the
yep,
second. She said, "Get your heads out your." You know what I mean? She's like, "What are you doing? You coming out there lackadaisical? You can't do that in this round." And how sweet will it be if the Liberty could beat Vegas, man? Because right now, the Liberty, even though they're the number one team in the East, in the league, the WNBA, they're the underdogs.
yeah,
People are claiming
yeah,
Aces are going to do a three-peat. So you need to prove these people wrong and the naysayers wrong and beat them. And really, your challenge is Minnesota, who you've had trouble with. Minnesota is the Knicks version of Boston. The Liberty can't figure out how to beat Minnesota. You've beaten Las Vegas Aces. You have to beat them. And like we said, I don't care that the Aces came in the fourth seed. They are champions for a reason. They are at a crazy level right now. And right now, their confidence is high because they're like, they can't beat us. That's
Yeah.
what Vegas is thinking. They're like, yo, they're going to choke. They're
Yep.
going to
That's
fall flat, and we're going to beat them again in Brooklyn, and we're going to go into the finals. So I need the Liberty to lock in, handle business at home today, and handle a business again at home in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center on Tuesday. Handle business. Hell, take if you can take the third game, that'll be excellent because you can call it over. Now you
yep.
can rest. But
Agree.
Becky's ready for them. Speaking of Becky, she spoke on Teresa Witherspoon getting fired. She said, "I don't understand that."
Yeah.
I, I, I'm listen. I guess I'm a huge Teaspoon fan because she played on the New York Liberty, but I don't understand why Teaspoon was fired. You can't expect a coach to try to get a team together in one season. Angel Reese said, "I didn't even know." Like it shocked me. She had a great bond with her, just like Zion Williamson had a great bond with Teaspoon when she was an assistant coach on the Pelicans. Not sure why Teaspoon was fired. Listen, my only thing with that is I hope Teaspoon don't get red listed like a Mark Jackson. You know what I mean? And now she only could get jobs with the NBA, and maybe the WNBA will have jobs for her, but it's assistant only jobs. Don't do that to my girl Teaspoon. Teaspoon
Okay.
is well qualified to coach any team in the league. So I, I'm not sure. You know, I don't know. Does Teaspoon try to go after maybe the Los Angeles Sparks head job? I don't know if they would have her coach the Valkyries, the new team out in the Bay, but I
Yeah.
just think that that was
Yeah.
awful.
She didn't get a fair shake if it's her coaching style. But it could be other things and other factors of why she was let go. It could be the turmoil that, Chicago seemed to have always, there were always, something going on behind the scenes, just the locker room. So I'd rather be that than her coaching because you didn't give her a fair shake at
Right,
coaching. There's no way she's going I can't say there's no way, but it's unfair for them to expect for them to bring a championship. You got two rookies on your team. That's not the old Chicago when you had Parker, you had Sloot,
right,
Wrigley,
right.
Khalil Crawford. So it's unfair, for them to expect for her to bring. Yeah, they had a abysmal, season where they went 15 and something like that. But in all fairness, it was premature, for them to, you know, expect, for them to have, the season that they had, and then and Reese, she went out. So maybe if she was healthy, they probably would have one more game. So you
Mhm.
just makes you wonder, like, well, what was the actual reason? And I hope it's not her coaching because you didn't give her a fair shake in one
Yeah,
season. It's going to be hard to turn a team around, in that short span. I
exactly. I think there's still underlying things that we don't know, as Marina Mabry requested a trade from there. So there was something deeper going on. And I just think that maybe it was two different directions. Maybe the front office wanted one thing and Teaspoon was like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
But I did see on Angel Reese's Unapologetically podcast, I saw a clip where Cheryl Swoops was saying that people, because Angel Reese said, oh, people compare me and Camilla. She said we play two different positions, and Cheryl Soup said, "Well, people are gonna do that." She said they shouldn't, but they're gonna do that. She said, "I love playing with Camilla Cardosa." She said, "And I hope that we play together a long time because she said I find her. I know where she likes the ball. I'm able to get a lot of assists by passing her the ball, and I really do hope that they keep those two together. I don't see Chicago letting them go." Especially because Angel Reese is like the face of the Chicago Sky. But I don't know. I just hope that whoever's the next coach that they fit. And I also hope that they get the right group of players in there to play with them and that Chicago could find their groove and their rhythm next season. And I really hope Teaspoon's able to find another coaching job. you
For
know,
sure.
because I don't think Teaspoon was able to get a fair chance. And a lot of people, it's unanimous. People are like, yo, like if you know Teaspoon, people, a lot of fans are like, whether you're a fan of Chicago or not, people are like, yo, what happened? You know, like Teaspoon's, she has a good rep, you know, in the WNBA and the NBA. So
I don't mean to laugh, but I'm laughing because I saw this. I don't know if it was I think it was Facebook. Somebody posted a thing about Chicago about Scott. They said ever since she came, the season went down here. I said that's not fair. That's not funny. You know,
right.
I'm gonna send it to you though. But that's why I laugh
Guy
because they
came
kind
with
of
like 5 games left. She wasn't
they
even
try
there
to
that many
blame it on the
games.
mascot.
Yeah, she got there with like 5 games left. Paris
Okay.
said Spoon got fired because she didn't play Kennedy enough. And two, she compromised the team by letting Angel chase numbers instead of running the best plays. That's why players axed out. I don't know. I felt like Kennedy did play enough basketball. I did
Yeah.
see a lot of Chicago Sky fans say they felt like Teaspoon's rotations they weren't good. They felt like certain players wasn't playing enough minutes. Some people played too many minutes. I don't know about the whole Angel Reese chasing numbers. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Parrish. It could be the case. But I also think that Reese got the playing time because of the way she was playing. You know, and like she was working her butt off. Now, again, you could be right. You could be completely right. Maybe Teaspoon was leaving her in to chase her numbers, you know. And it's unfortunate because Angel Reese's play overshadowed Camila Cardosa. You didn't really get to hear it. But Camilla played a great season.
Yeah.
She came in, showed out. I mean, you know, she came in from South Carolina with Dawn Staley. She wasn't going to come in and be no bench scrub. Any player that comes from Dawn Staley's program, they're very good in the WNBA. These women are not sitting down on the
Okay.
bench waiting to get playing time. Like they're in the game. But again, and this is a great point by Parrish. I agree. It could be either or. But one of the things I noticed was that Angels play overshadowed Camilla, and you didn't even really hear Camilla's name except for when she was having great blocks, great rebounds. I mean, I love Camilla's hustle. There was games where I saw she was getting beat down the court, and she's running, 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 and she was able to get a nice block without that. And I'm like, yo, I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
With Kennedy was also a hothead. I don't know if any of you have seen the video after one of their last, maybe three to last, maybe third game to the last final season game, and Camila Cardosa and what's the other girl's name? I forget her name. They was on the post game press conference, and you can hear chaos in the locker room. Someone was slamming chairs, arguing, and I remember you and I was saying Teaspoon don't have a grip on those players. You the head honcho. You need to get a grip. And then remember, Teaspoon came in at one point, and it was still the noise. Not noise like people talking, noise like people was beefing. Chairs, boom, boom, locker room, boom, boom. Camila Cardosa trying to concentrate on what question she's being asked. She couldn't even concentrate. Am I exaggerating? She
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
looking to the side. She was like, "What's going on?" It sounded
It
like
was
two players was in there rumbling in the Bronx, going at
it
it.
was Lindsay Allen and Cardoso.
And Lindsay Allen couldn't even focus on the questions that was being asked because they was like, Lindsay was looking embarrassed, almost like this has happened before, but the cameras caught it and was picking up the noise.
Yeah,
So
and it
I
was she
think
was
that's
trying to
part. Yeah,
motion them to close the door.
she was like, "Can someone close the door?" Somebody said, "Nah, we ain't closing no doors. Y'all gonna hear what's going on." So from Camilla's body language and her look of concern, from Lindsay Allen's look of like this has happened before. Marina Mabry asking out, and it worked in her favor because Connecticut needs her 3-point shooting. She's a lot happier. there seems to be some underlying drama. Something's going on that Teaspoon didn't have a grip of. And maybe she did to some degree, but it was too out of control.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe the organization, they figure, well, let's part ways now, let's see if we could, get a grip and see if we could bring in a coach that the players can respond to. So we don't know, but it's said that she, didn't get, I guess, the benefit of the doubt, or maybe she did, but let's hope she can bounce back and you know, she has the experience as far as she was on the Pelicans as an assistant. So that experience, that alone, just that learning experience is there. She just has to just apply it to on the female side, and just maybe she another team, and that maybe, and again, maybe that wasn't a fit for her. So a lot of things, factor into. I just hope that she definitely gets another shot.
Yeah, I agree. I think that salute to Joe Curry. He said Angel Reese played too much, or how I see it, took too many shots and should have just been a rebounder and defender in her first year as well as a facilitator instead of scoring to keep up with Clark. I think at times, yeah, Angel Reese was taking too many shots. I think Angel got heavily criticized too because some people felt like she was purposely missing shots to get rebounds, which is kind of silly to me. I think she was actually just missing them. And I think that's something that she definitely needs to work on in the off season is learning how to make those easy layups. You right under the basket, you're tall enough to just make them in. But then I think of too is like, well, maybe kind of piggybacking off of what Parrish said, do you blame Teaspoon in that regard? Because Teaspoon should have maybe, you know what I mean? You should coach Angel and that you don't need her to score all the baskets. And maybe she wasn't running the offense, a particular way. So that way, you know, it wasn't an Angel show every night. I know some people said Kennedy didn't play. I thought Kennedy played enough minutes. Kennedy did get hurt towards the end of the season. I think she's playing in China now. I saw a video of her getting into a fight with one of the China basketball players. I'm like, you just got there. How you already having a fight? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that Teaspoon, like you said, she needs to regroup, strategize for how she wants to implement her coaching for whatever next team she gets the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
And I hope that she doesn't fall into that bubble like Vicky Johnson, where you got a chance and then organizations are hesitant to give you the opportunity to get a head coaching position again. But she'll find another team. The league is continuing to grow, and I'm looking forward to see Teaspoon show us what she can do from a coaching standpoint, as well. So all love to her, and she'll be okay.
Sure.
Um, Danny, he showed up late, but we was talking about the Knicks for like the first hour. We talked about the trade. I was saying how I love the trade of Cat coming to the Knicks. I think his versatility, what he can bring, is a lot of what we can't get from Mitchell Robinson. And I'm excited about the risk that the front office took to acquire him. And the Knicks will be okay considering Mitchell Robinson's going to still be out with his ankle injury for the first 3 months or so. And also, I think just looking in the long run, what this team needs in the playoffs, you need a player like Cat who can. I'm not saying he's the end all be all, but you need that versus relying on a Jericho and Precious, or we would have played small ball also with Randle at the 5 spot. And I also mentioned how I don't think we lost much, being that we also traded Dante DiVincenzo. We did talk on the bench, saying how the Knicks, we don't really, especially Diva, how we really don't see how they have a bench. But I think this trade was a risky one, but a good one. And I think trading Randall wasn't an easy decision, but it was necessary. I don't know if you have anything.
No, you couldn't have said it better. I mean, I just love his versatility for what he brings. He's able. He's a nice rebounder, great his passing ability. He could run out the transition, shoot the three. He could, play the 4 to 5, and definitely a nice 5 addition. So I mean, just all that you said, and I like the trade. Um, I think it's for the betterment of the team. He'll be able to handle this New York pressure because he's from out here, so there ain't nothing new or nothing he's not used to. He's a East product. So I mean, I love the trade. I mean, I don't want to say love. I like the trade, put it like that.
He said maybe Robinson will be on the next move. Maybe not this season, but I think de- depending on how this season goes, the Knicks may want to part ways because of his injury prone
Yeah.
history, and as a business, and they may want to part ways. Randle seems happy with the trade. I haven't really heard much from Randle. Did you hear him say
No, I
anything yet?
mm-mm.
Yeah,
Sometimes, and again, change is good, whether it's good or, bad. And some people don't like change, the good or the bad. But as players, we got to take our, feelings out of it's hard, the emotional aspect and the attachment, and just again, it's a business decision. And I think that's what the front office, they had to make a business move, not a player move, a business move. So it's a difference.
right.
So yeah.
Joe said, disagree. We had a better player in Randle and the best shooting guard in DiVincenzo. I mean, Randle definitely got better. I'm not going to take that away. Randle, for sure, his game has grown. He's gotten a lot better. DiVincenzo had his best career year since being in the NBA with the Knicks. Um, and we were also discussing how Ian Begley reported that DiVincenzo was saying how he wasn't happy coming off the bench playing fewer minutes for next season. I know he tried to back out of that and say that's not what he said. Possible. Maybe he didn't say that, but I'm sure he wanted to play more minutes. The thing is, it would be hard to play DiVincenzo more minutes when you have Mikal Bridges there who can shoot the ball just as well. And my only thing with DiVincenzo was that sometimes he was a bit streaky. Like he had certain games where he was, and again, I understand players are not going to be hot every night, but he had some games where he was like off, total brick, and it was games where we needed those shots. And I think that this is why I say the Knicks will be okay. Mikal Bridges, he can shoot, he can give you the points that you're looking for and need. He can hit free throws, the guy stays healthy. So I don't think that. And then if you get the improvement from Deuce McBride, from Josh Hart, a healthy OG Anunoby, you can get a spark from Cameron Payne. Hopefully you could get some couple of minutes from Tyler Kolek at times. The Knicks will be okay. Precious Achua can give you a spark here and there as well off the bench, and he can come in and get you a block or two and get you the rebounds. He just got to learn to make shots when he's right near the basket. But otherwise than that, if guys will show that they've worked on their game individually, Josh Hart, like I said, not being indecisive when he gets the ball, take the shot. You're open. We've seen what he can do when he's open. He nine times out of 10, he can make the shot. And same thing when he drives to the basket, protecting the ball. Deuce McBride, when he gets the ball, I don't want Deuce to be too comfortable with just being a catch and shoot guy. Like if he can add driving to his game, he'll be such a threat against other defenses, in this league. And I think just you lose the points and the rebounds from a Randle. You lose the high proficient shooting from DiVincenzo. But I think who the Knicks still have is still more than enough to make up for it as long as guys stay healthy. So
Yeah.
yeah, DiVincenzo definitely played defense. I agree with that for sure. But I think that's something that this Knicks team also has to own in on. Like they have to become a better defensive team. And we've seen when this Knicks team is playing that matador smothering defense, they cause turnovers. Shot clock goes out. Teams can't get a shot off. The Knicks are excellent when they really lock in, but they have to stick to that and not do it sometimes, and then they kind of lack off or give teams too much breathing room. You got to stay on teams' necks. But I agree with you. Dante DiVincenzo had excellent defense. He was able to, like a OG, he's able to get into his hand in the passing lane,
Yeah,
get
that's what I
the
was gonna say.
he's able to get the steal and get down the other end and get the easy layup or dunk. So he does that very well. And, you still will have guys that will be able to do that on this team. Kareem Grant salute said Dante was good as a starter, but I love Dante coming off the bench. We got pain, so I'm still okay. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember Cameron Payne's even before shooting, even before he was on Philly. But in that first round, when we was playing him, Josh Hart wasn't even playing no defense on him. I remember distinctly it's like he was daring him to shoot, and Payne was just knocking down the threes. And I'm like, okay, so when are you gonna put a hand up, get a little closer to try to defend him? Because he was just doing what he wanted to. And you could tell Nick Nurse didn't want that. There was a couple of times you saw him on the bench making a face like, no, that's not what, but he was looking to get them back in the game. He was trying to keep them in a series. But I agree. I love Dante coming off the bench, and I think Payne fulfills that spot, and he can shoot the ball just as a high percentage. And listen, we don't know when players come here. Your Cameron Paynes, a healthy OG, Mikal Bridges, they may end up having a great season like Dante DiVincenzo had last season.
Exactly.
That winning becomes infectious. It's a mood. It brightens up your mood. The morale is higher. Guys are loving the chemistry and what's happening on the court. They're getting their touches. You know what I mean? So that can help you play better on a team like the Knicks. And it's not to say that Payne and Mikal wasn't doing what they needed to do respectively on their teams. But when you come on this team and you're playing at the Garden where it's so loud, the fans are so into it, where New Yorkers were so passionate about the game and them winning, that's going to help them in the long run. So, I won't count out those players like that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. He said, I'm kind of upset we cut Mook. I like him. He was good for us when he was here. Yeah, but I think we gotta look forward. We gotta look like I was saying a few minutes ago. This Knicks team have to learn how to take it to the next level in the postseason. Even for the regular season. Like, I think 50 wins is cool, but I think the East is gonna get better next season. It's gonna be a tougher crowd. Not just the West, the East is gonna get better. I think the Knicks should try to get 55 to 60 wins and get out of the second round next season.
Agreed. And they will. I mean, and also with the addition of Cat, the odds are in the Knicks' favorite. As far as winning the championship. So you got to also look at that. At that aspect. Um, this wasn't done just haphazardly. This was something that was thought out. You
Right.
know, wasn't like they just pulled the trigger. As fans, we're just not privy to the behind the scenes, type of negotiations and things that go on. Um, you know, this was something that was in the works, and we just so happened, the news just came late on a Friday night because I called you, you was asleep. I was coming back from the game, and when I saw the news
Mhm.
hit over the wire, from I was coming back from the Yankee Stadium, so and this is what, like 10:30 at night. So we
Right.
just aren't just privy to things like that. It's always a shock factor. Even if it was 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock that a Saturday morning, whatever, it's going to be a shock factor, you know, that nobody's seen coming as fans. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, same. I'm like, this team is growing. We're getting better. We're moving in the direction that we need to move in. We're about getting better each game. getting better each season, getting better throughout the regular season, as well as getting better and becoming a better playoff contender team. And I think that as the season goes on, we'll have those conversations are as to whether the Knicks are true championship contenders. Are they championship caliber team? But we'll know once we see and as the season goes on and watch them play. So I'm excited for preseason to see what this Knicks team does. I can really care less about the in-season tournament. It's great. You get the extra money, you win a trophy. I care more about the championship.
Exactly.
That's what I care more about. I care more about you getting out the second round. I care more about you being able to beat a team like Boston, who honestly had an easy, smooth sailing ride last year in the playoffs. No competition. But like I said, I believe the East is going to be a lot stronger this season. So, but I'm there's no panic or worry or concern. I'm happy because that was my biggest question mark as to what were we going to do as far as the center position. I didn't think even if Mitchell Robinson was ready to start at the beginning of the season, relying on him and then maybe having your options of Precious, um, maybe Randle if you wanted to go and go smaller ball or Sims. I didn't think that was going to be ideal or sustainable for the entire season. So I'm happy that the Knicks made their move, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll be watching. We'll be reporting. Our new days now are Sundays and Thursdays. So we'll be doing those days. Our Sunday mornings at 11, and then Thursdays we'll be doing. I don't know if we're gonna do 6:30. If we're gonna start at 7. We'll figure out that start time. But yeah, we'll be back to recap the Liberty. If you guys don't have a game to watch today, watch the Liberty game. Support them. They'll be playing the Las Vegas Aces today at 3, and then game 2 will be on Tuesday, I believe, at 7 or 7:30. So you'll be able to watch it too. It's gonna either be on like ESPN, ABC. It's not like it's on Prime or anything like that where everybody can't watch it. So we'll see what happens. We'll be keeping up with the latest Knicks news as well. It felt good to talk about some Knicks news and have some stuff to talk about because it was kind of dry in the summer. We had a little bit in the beginning of the summer to talk about, and then it kind of dried up. So exciting things. And you know what? I love these surprising Knicks trade blockbuster moves.
Me
It's
too.
like a good show. You're like, ooh, I can't wait for the next episode. So when the Knicks do that, it just makes it more exciting. And we're in New York, so it's supposed to be like that. It makes it more enticing and exciting to keep up with as this Knicks season goes on. So let's have faith in our Knicks team that these guys can get it done. Um, and I believe in them. So let's believe in them. Let's trust the front office and the system, and that they can do it. Shout
Yep.
out to the chat for joining us, Walter Blackman, Paula Bonner, Wonder Woman, MBM, Juan B, salute to you as well. James Sumler, salute to you for joining us. I haven't seen James here, so salute to you. Marvin Smith, salute to you as well. AP, salute to you. AP be joining us on our Liberty conversations. I appreciate that. Chris Connors, salute to you. I've seen Chris here before. Andrew Decatus, salute to you as well. Stephen P.R. Torres, salute. Alex Galavino. Oh, he asked the question. He said, do you think they'll trade Mitchell Robinson? And if they do, who do you think they would trade him for? I missed this one. I don't think they'll trade Mitch. Not this season. I think they're going to look to see how Mitch does this season. And I
Yeah.
think what will hurt Mitch is the injuries. If he's too injured up this season, then the Knicks may consider possibly trading him, which would be unfortunate, but I just don't think that this Knicks team has time for. I don't think they have time for too much redevelopment of too many players, and they don't have time for guys who's going to be too injury prone as well. Injuries happen, of course, but I don't think they have time for.
That's that's
And
why that's why he not rushing back. You want to make sure he's fully healthy. Think he's slick.
Yeah, but Mitch, this has been the thing since he's been a Knick. He's been injured. So, it's the same song and dance. But when he's out there, he's great. But we need him for a full-fledged season. And I know there's still some question from some fans as far as like, well, what about OG? Well, we'll see. They already paid him the bag, but we'll see. And I pray that he stays healthy as well. Salute to Damian Stevens, a Negro One. Salute, Parish Duggar. Salute to you. Always showing love. And I know there's a few people at the bottom who I didn't get. Daraz, salute to you. Daraz caught us before we left. Usually he comes in at the end. Big
Oh yeah.
fan Breezy. Salute to Big fan Breezy. And Joe Curry, always showing love. Salute to you as well. Danny Lanes, salute to you. He always shows love as well. And I think Kareem Grant. Kareem always hit us up on the replay. He'd be like, I just watched the replay. And shout out to the replay gang too. For those of you who do watch the replays, who don't catch us live, you show love. Salute to you. We will be having other Knicks content creators on with this upcoming season. And I still got to schedule the all women's panel where we'll be talking all things Knicks. So salute to you. I'm trying to get Ebony from Nick of Time on here so we could talk about the Liberty. So I got to reach out to her as well. Space Ghost, salute to you. Space Ghost be in the chat too. And I think that's everybody. I don't think I skipped anybody. But salute to everybody. Have a great start to your week. We'll see you all on Thursday. And yeah, let's go Liberty. Let's go Knicks. Until next time, everybody. Peace.